Hey everybody, it's V. How you doing? You know, from time to time I like to do these kind of dirt under your fingernails, regular man um, mining videos, and today is going to be no exception, except for there's a massive difference in the way that these used to happen versus how they're going to happen now. So the TLDR, of course, is going to be this is going to be a long video, and this is kind of the new way to do things, and so we're going to talk about those a little bit. And here we go. So the first thing that's changed, of course, obviously this is 3.19 and everything's changed. So we are no longer recommending solo Prospector for profitability. We are recommending solo mole. Now, there's some upside and some downside to that. Some upside is, of course, you have much more laser power. And you also can kind of customize the kit a little bit based because you have different lasers as well. You also are, of course, going to take a lot more time to do these runs. That 15, 20 minute, 30 minute Prospector run where you used to kind of go out and maybe get yourself 27 SCU of Quantanium and having that be worth a couple of 100,000, after you refine it is no longer really a thing. We are going to try and prioritize tier 1 resources, but tier 2 resources are going to be okay as well because we have the additional storage capacity on the mole. The mole has 96 SCU storage capacity. So, a couple of other things. You're not going to go fast at this. This isn't a fast thing. The mole is far more industrial. It's a big box with jets on it. It's just not, it's something, if you're going to be in a real big hurry, you're probably going to make a mistake, and one that may be very costly. And the reason it's so costly is because you might have 1, 2, 3 mining laser heads on there, you might have literally between the mining laser heads and the modules, you could have in excess of 200,000 or 300,000. Just the Helix size 2 alone is 100,000. Now, so let's talk about some important things for pre-flight. So pre-flight, the one thing I'm going to tell you is you bring a little food and water. If you weren't doing that before, do it now. Now, I'm going to be highly recommending the Air and Halo still. The one thing I am going to tell you is I am seeing a big difference between, and I don't know if this is just RNG at this point because we're still pretty early, but I am seeing a big difference between bands like 5 for clusters in the Halo versus like band 1 or 2, which has much more single rocks. So a couple of things, I don't know if you ran into this little bug where sometimes you can't get a ship to show you itself in the vehicle loadout manager. One thing I have found is if you have a second ship in the vehicle loadout manager and you toggle between them, sometimes that can actually sort that out. So if you ever have just one ship in your vehicle loadout manager and it won't show you any, put a second one or a third one in there and it will be fine. So a couple of other things for pre-flight. Number one, because after you do this run, you're going to want to kind of cherry pick the refinery based on what it is you collected. An XL1 drive is going to be a recommended piece of equipment. Now, it's going to be a much more thirsty drive. And if you don't mind the time, that's going to be, the real issue. But I think it's a significant time saver, which is very important. So I do have an XL1 drive. And here we go. This is where things kind of get interesting, right? So I'm going to have in slot 1 a Klein. Now, this is a Klein size 2. I have found that this is probably my favorite laser in the center part of, and it bounces back and forth a little bit. I can understand where some people might go with a Helix or something along those lines as well. I am choosing this Klein in my primary slot where I'm going to run to first. This is the center laser. Right now, the Rieger C3s they appear to be bugged, and that's not to say long-term you wouldn't want a C3 in here. I think the C3 would be the natural choice. I am noticing the C2 is opening up the optimal window. When I'm choosing the C3, it's not. So I'm assuming the C3 is not working. And I've also had reports in my community that the C3 isn't working. So I thought I'd share that with you. Second of all, The second laser is interesting that I have on the, on the starboard side, or the, the right laser, is I actually have a Hofstad size 1. And that is because if for some reason you are going to break these things down occasionally, and they're not just going to break in the purples. The beauty of having the Klein is with it having, the Klein, one of the reasons we like it so much, right? If we just take a look at the Klein here, you can see it's got that, it's got negative 45% resistance. So it's a really good cracking. This is a great, laser for reducing resistance, which is going to be one of your biggest obstacles to overcome. Now, resistance is, the other thing is any instability over 3 is not going to be good either. So, you're going to have some things to offset that. So I'm using this as my primary breaker. I do also have, like I said, in the starboard side, I'm using a Hofstad. I've actually stepped down to a size 1. I am finding that I like this for small rock secondary breaks. I have paired that with a Focus 3. I'm not exactly sure, I'm still kind of playing around with some of the modules as well. Now, in the port side laser, I've actually just kind of put a Helix 2 in there, kind of a grunt force. Now, I've had different success maybe having actually an Arbor in there hasn't been necessarily a bad choice. I'm also considering maybe going with like a size 1 Klein as well in this. I just haven't decided exactly. But for now, we're gonna stick with this Klein size 2 in the primary. The secondary breaker I'm gonna use is a Hofstad size 1, and we are gonna just I will have this brute force guy available to me if for some reason I think it will help. The Helix, unfortunately, it's got this situation where I've tended to find, for whatever reason, and I'm trying to offset it with these XTRs and this Focus. I have found that it's, just sometimes going to be a very narrow optimal band in order to break it. There's a lot of, you got to feather it quite a bit, turn the laser on, turn the laser off quite a bit. So anyways, normally these videos don't start out with a 7 or 8 minute kind of intro to things, but everything's changed, and I really want you to understand that. And as far as profitability goes, let's go ahead. Now, I am at CRUL1, but we will not be returning to CRUL1. This is just kind of my staging point because I like hitting the air in halo. And I like hitting the air in halo because you are going to be in a vulnerable position out of your laser. And so it's really important that you actually kind of get yourself in a position where you're not necessarily kind of bent over, if you will, planet surface side or whatever. Now, one of the drawbacks of actually using the mole is everything's going to take longer. This video is probably going to be well over an hour long in order to get, stuff on board. And so that, like I said, that 15-minute, that 20-minute run where you come back with, almost 300,000 worth of material has gone. And the age of the mole is here. It's kind of, so that's just kind of how I'm seeing it now. And I will tell you, if you have been any member, I do a lot of live streaming, not a ton, but enough live streaming to know that if you're a member of my community, that I have been saying for a long time that I feel like the mole is a little too tedious to solo in. But really, if you're going to solo for profitability at this point, this is your guy. So if you're looking to make money, this is your guy. So once again, we're going to really take our time here and try and show you a lot of kind of the basics of what you need to be doing here. So first off, we're just going to fire up our engines. Now you can see, as I returned this last time, it's really important that, it's not giving me the Quantanium fuel that I need. So that's a problem, right? It's heavens and stars. We may, I'm going to have to adapt. Obviously, I may look around for a pad to land on and see if that'll It'll help. I mean, I'm half down on quantum fuel, and it wouldn't refuel me when I landed here the first time. And so we're going to have to, you know, potentially adapt with that. So I'm going to go ahead and fire up here. I will look around. I'm going to go ahead and open up the doors here. So already we're kind of doing something I wouldn't necessarily recommend, which is flying around the station. But we're empty, and that's okay. So I am going to set my route from CRUL1 to ARC-L3. That's going to be my route that I'm going to set. And I am going to be dropping out at 11,800. That's a critical place to drop out. And it's like I said, I have noticed I don't know if it's RNG. I don't know if it's just in my head. But I have noticed that when I'm hitting band 5, I seem to get more clusters of rocks than single rocks. Don't get me wrong. The meta's changed entirely. If you're on a moon surface or a planet surface, mostly all you're going to find is clusters of rocks. If you are in space, you're going to see a lot more single rocks. So whenever you do get the opportunity to get a cluster, it actually significantly improves your chances for a tier 1 resource. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and raise the gear. We're going to sneak out here. And I am not as familiar with where a pad may be on this station, but boy, I used to land on them all the time. So let's go ahead and see if we can just locate a pad just visually here at the station. And I'm just hoping that maybe a pad is going to be a little better about giving me an opportunity to to get myself some quantum fuel. I do want to top off if I can before I leave, and I don't necessarily want to. I'll go up and fly up here and take a look at these. I don't think, I don't want to spend a lot of time doing this, but the reality is I'm only at 50% quantum fuel. And if I wanted to fly to Mike L2, for instance, which has a plus 9% gold bonus, I don't have the capacity to do it. So this is just, a typical day in the life of what somebody, may face or whatever. Now, I don't think this is actually, and notice how slow and methodic I'm going. There's a reason for it. This thing flies like a big tank. It is not for the faint of heart. It is something that, you got to get used to a little bit. And you really don't, you don't want to get yourself moving too fast in a particular direction. If you may not be able to land correctly. So, all right, let's just kind of, we're just going to kind of fly around a little bit and see if we can find ourselves a pad to land on. Maybe I see one down that way, just beyond that beam. Let's go ahead and take a look. I don't know if that's one or not. It doesn't necessarily look like it is. But anyways, we're going to continue to look around here for just a short period of time. I don't want to be crazy. We're going to continue to look around for a pad to land on to see if we can just get lucky and see if it would just kind of top us off. Now, you can see, I have plenty of fuel to get back, like there and back, but I don't, like I said, I want to be able to choose my refinery when we are done with this run today. So, yeah, those aren't pads there. I'm looking for a pad to land on. I'm just not seeing one here. Boy, it seems like they used to be down along the bottom. Maybe that is. Let's go down and look. No, I think that's not. I think that's actually a hangar. It is a hangar. Let me keep looking around. I don't recall. Boy, it seems like these used to be pads down this way more. Well, we may not necessarily shoot the video exactly how I want, but that's, like I said, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I mean, we may, we're certainly not going to do something silly like flying to Port Alisar. That's kind of a shooting gallery a lot of times, and not a wise choice. I am going to go down over here by the refinery and see if I see a pad. I just am not seeing very many pads available anymore on this station. I'm not saying there aren't any, and I'm sure some of you are laughing and know exactly where it's at, but that's okay. I'm just, oh, there's one maybe right up there. Let's go take a look at that guy. Let me go out and take a look at that guy. And see if this is a pad up here. Like I said, topping off with quantum fuel is pretty important, to be honest with you. And unfortunately, you know, sometimes the server's a bit stingy about, you know, giving you that, you know, giving you a refuel or whatever, and that seems to be the case here. Yeah, I think that's what we're looking for right there. Okay, that's good. So let's go ahead and get lined up. We'll go ahead and land on this pad. This is exactly what we're looking for here, is a pad. And one of the cool things, I don't know if you get, you know, you can actually just land on pads and run down, and a lot of times the refinery will recognize it. And I had a bit of luck one time when I couldn't refuel, where you know, where there was an issue. Sorry if you could hear that. There might be a little noise outside, and if there is, I apologize. But we're gonna go ahead and bring. Notice how methodic I'm being. Just real slow. You know, it's just not the type of ship that you want to be going too crazy with. I gotta lower my gear now. I still have my VTOLs down. Drop my gear. Yep. And let me get a sense of kind of where I'm coming in at. Perfect. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's go ahead and drop her right there. All right, now let's cross our fingers, because it has been a bit grumpy about giving me fuel. Yes, that's exactly what we needed right there, was a top off before we take off. And so, yeah, we're 15 minutes in and we haven't even left the station. I mean, this is kind of the new mining meta. It's a whole lot more preparation. You got a whole lot more money involved, you know, in kind of getting your mole set up. Profitability is something you're going to have to work towards. This is one of those things where, you know, there's a lot more to this gig now. Mining is so much. You know, I know Prospector mining, for a lot of you may know that the Prospector is my favorite ship, and I am definitely sad to see it be kind of, you know, I almost don't want to say a waste of time, but it is almost a waste of time, you know, and so here we go. I mean, that's just my opinion. People can, you know, you absolutely are entitled to have your opinion, but my opinion is the Prospector is no longer, by the time you kind of find resources, find things that you can crack, and it's mixed in, the profitability is very low. So anyways, here we are. We are heading towards ARC-L3. And I'll probably put some timestamps in this video, and maybe we'll mark departure towards ARC-L3, you know, in there. And so, but you know, when I do these videos, it's really important to me that you see the entire gig. All right, so we've got to be real careful here. We want to drop out of 11.8. So, and we're boogieing along. There's 12, 11, 9, boom. Now, I missed my window there. The XL1 drive is so fast. I missed my window a touch there. So if I were to look here, I am 11.7, which doesn't seem like 100,000's that important, but I really want you to look at the density around me here. We're going to turn around and go 100,000 back the other way. Okay? Look at the density here. It's important, but I really want you to understand the density is super important that we get it right. And the XL1 drive is very fast, and it's just one of those things where I just didn't quite drop out in the spot that I want. That being said, we don't want to go that far. We're only looking to go about 100,000 or so. You know, I would say I'm gonna take this guy down to like 6.842. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We just want to try and be as close to that as we can. All right, and this thing gets going, and bop. Okay. Density here is about the same. So let me go ahead and turn around. Let's look here and make sure that I have, you know, everything kind of where I want. I think 11.8 is where we definitely want to be, if I recall correctly. And I may pull up my, you know, my old Cornerstone star chart to make sure I'm right. You can see the density is actually a little better here. I'm still 11.7, so I still have to go back a little further, another 50,000 or so. This is a better density than, you know, than where I was, but it's just not exactly where I want to be. So, you know, and listen, I know that this sounds it seems a bit, extra tedious, but I will tell you that I've noticed a significant difference in the thicker bands. So we're going to go probably another, maybe 50,000 to 70,000 or so, and let's see where we're at after that. So here we go. We're just going to drop down to about 70, about try and flatten out here. 10, boom. Yes, now you notice already, if you notice the density, it's important, for me to show you this. The density is significantly different here. So now why am I setting ARC-L3 as my destination? I'm not going to be flying to ARC-L3. It's because I don't want the sun in my eyes. I mean, that's basically it. So if you notice, the density of the rocks here is significantly better. And so that's why it's very important that you are in band 4 or 5. You really want to be in the thicker part of the band here. Now, now that we've got that part of it out of the way, let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm facing ARC-L3, but we're not necessarily going to fly there. We're just going to pull up. We're going to trim our speed. Now, I think a good cruising speed for the mole is somewhere about 250 to 275. You start going much faster than that, and you're going to have a hard time braking as you approach rocks. The other thing is we're going to go ahead and do like just a 180 ping. You really do want to have, a point in space like this. For instance, this particular point that I'm facing towards. So you actually can cover the same ground if you're not careful. And I'm not going to do a 360 ping because I'm not interested in things necessarily behind me. But I am going to do a 180 ping and see what we got. Now you can see we have lots of opportunity markers. So we're going to prioritize our signatures that are above a single rock. Now, single rocks are somewhere between 1700, 1720, and 1950. So as we ping here, what I'm looking for is something that's double that, or I want to find more rocks than just a single rock. It's not that I won't approach a single rock. I absolutely will. But there's our first right off the bat. Now, 5250. Now I'm going to send more of a collapsed ping in on that guy. And if I have to kind of get it back, I'll send out another ping. You can see it's shifted just a touch, but there's my 5250. I've collapsed the ping down. Now I'm going to go ahead and hammer that guy with the collapsed ping, and now I'm going to hover my mouse and my targeting over that. I'm pushing and holding on my scan, and that's going to give me a rock icon. Then I'm going to roll back to 22, and that 22 is going to kind of keep the rock icon out there in front of me. So I'm pinging. I'm approaching. I'm on approach. If I keep kind of pinging this, it'll eventually, I can kind of, you can see having the rock icon there's it's helpful to have, right? So we're approaching this guy now because I'm doing 263 around 4,500 here. I'm going to let off the gas, and the mole will continue to go forward. I mean, it's she is a boat. I mean, this thing flies like a boat. It's just one of those things, And so there's happens to be a rock that it's kind of close. Now, you can just ping back out a little bit if you're feeling a little lost. There they are. Now, as you approach them, I'm approaching them. Here's my 3 rocks. And this is what I'm seeing. Like, there are more clusters in these bands that are thicker. At least and like I said, I don't know if I'm crazy. And of course, I'm a little crazy. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and approach and see what we have here. And this is going to be us for a little while, right? Now, you've got to just kind of inch your way in. Once again, there's nothing fast in this game, in this particular, now. So a tip that you need to have is you need to actually shoot all the rocks that you're, I know it sounds crazy, but this wakes them up. And there are a lot of unscannables. And I'm seeing unscannables a little more, when you find single rocks than multiple ones. But anyways, that's just kind of what it is. Now I'm doing a push and a hold scan, and it's going to give me, that's a P-type. This is a 9,000 mass P-type, and over here I'm going to get my composition, right? And that's telling me, hey, that's titanium and beryl. That's not what I'm looking for. And so you have to be within about 300 meters or so to get the scan results in. So here I approach this guy a little closer. You've got to have some good situational awareness. You don't want to bump into any of them. This, this is like a 927 mass rock, not a great one. This has a titanium and laranite in it. Pretty high percentage of laranite, but such a small rock, I'm not really going to spend my time with it. I'm looking for rocks that are somewhere between 12,000 and 18,000. Those are going to be real good, really in my wheelhouse here, and they're also going to give me a significant chance at putting in a considerable amount of material as well. This is a 10,000 mass rock. It has a grisium in it. I am not going to go after this rock. I'm going to be looking for a little higher tier stuff. Don't get me wrong, I will fill with mid tier when I need to. And I'm not afraid. A grisium is not necessarily my favorite to mine because a little bit of instability stuff. So I'm just going to rinse and repeat here. We're just going to go back to, there is a 1900 single rock. There is a 1750 single rock. There is a 1750. There is a 1900. And there is now a 1900. Now, when all I have is single rocks, I'm actually going to prioritize the one that's closest. And so here I'll go ahead and just kind of get that grouping back again. So, I have this one. There's one. They're about almost right next to each other. So I'm just going to, prioritize this guy here, and I'm going to just go ahead and do the same kind of thing. I close my ping. I then get a rock icon. I then roll back to about 22 scan angle, and then I start my approach. Now I am finding that single rocks have a more brutal chance of being unscannable, which is not what we're looking for, but it is a thing for sure. So we're approaching these rocks, and yeah, like I said, we're a half hour almost into the video. We haven't even put a mining laser on something yet, and that's kind of, if you're going to want the profitability, that's kind of going to be where it's at. Now, I am power braking. I'm hitting the power brake. I'm slowing down. All right, that's not too bad. And the good news is this does have a good yellow icon. So yellow outline. So I know I'm going to get a scan on this guy, but I'm still going to shoot it anyways. That's just kind of par for the course. And then I'm going to do my scan on it. And this is going to be E-type. It's great mass, 16,000 mass rock. This is going to be an iron and beryl. I'm definitely not doing an iron and beryl rock. Beryl has a very high capacity for making things very unstable. And also it's not something that I'm shooting for. I'm actually looking for, if I can, prioritize gold. Is really good out here. I'm trying to look for some Bexalite. I'm trying to look for some Terranite, and I'm trying to look for, obviously if I end up in a cluster with some other stuff in it, I'll definitely get it. Any of the ites. And so, here we are again. I'm going to prioritize this closer single rock, right? It was right over here, and so I'm going to go ahead and approach that guy. You can see there's tons of opportunity markers down, out here. And so that's a good thing. Obviously, like I said, we want to prioritize clusters where we can, but this is going to be us for a hot minute for sure. I mean, we are 100% just following the meta here. Moving along and just kind of seeing what we can see. Now, as we approach this guy, I'll go ahead and start, kind of breaking if I need to. We're just going to inch our way forward. It looks like we're in pretty good shape. Once we start getting kind of close to the range, I will begin power braking down a little bit. What I mean by that is I have my boost tied to my space brake, and so it can help slow me down. And then we can just go ahead and, it looks like when you're yellow icons, when you have the yellow outline, you definitely can get yourself the more important scan. This is an S-type. It's a tiny little rock. It's 1697, and it has Hephaestanite in it. So we're not going to necessarily mess around with that. Like I said, I really do like to try and look for some tier 1 resources if at all possible. This is going to be a 3400. That's great to know. Let's just look at our other opportunity markers here. That's an 1870. And this is a 1850. So let's prioritize this 3400. Notice I'm going to go ahead and reping. That's going to give me my diamond icons. And then I'm going to hover everything over the top of it. I'm pushing and holding scan, and I'm going to get myself my rock icon. And then I'm going to scroll and pull this guy back to, pull it back so I can kind of keep an eye on it. If I fired another ping, it's, it's kind of right there. And then, like I said, what I like to do is just kind of let my foot off the gas. And I was going way too fast there. I can see I got myself up. I'm already power braking because I noticed that my velocity meter, I had gotten a little too hot. And this is why you never, ever fly directly at the rocks. Always fly left or right. Fly to the port of them. Fly to the starboard of them. Whatever you're comfortable with. I'm actually gonna, occasionally I can definitely get myself in a situation where I increase my velocity meter. And that's just kind of par for the course. So we want to, once again, we want to get in within about 300. We're going to go ahead and I think that's what's happening is when I kind of turn this off to shoot the rocks. That's probably when I'm having that happen. But let's go ahead and scan these rocks now. So this is a C-type rock. I like C-types. This is Hephaestanite quartz and beryl. Not exactly what I'm looking for. And I am a little situational awareness. I gain a little altitude so I can kind of get close to this other rock without getting into it, without getting into the one that I just scanned. So another C-type, good mass, 10.8. I like that. And so this is going to have quartz and a beryl in it. So definitely not what we're looking for. Now I'm going to just go ahead and use my my side thrust laser and just kind of move myself out of the way. This is rinse and repeat mode. So we're at a 90 ping, just kind of send them out and then go ahead and take a look at your opportunity markers. That is a 1700 opportunity marker. And that is a 1750. And it looks like those are my two options. So we'll prioritize the one that's a little closer. We'll get send out a collapse ping on that guy. And then, like I said, we'll kind of scan and hold. The good news is the server seems to be pretty responsive, and that's an important thing. I mean, the longer, as all of you know, the longer you spend out, the more chances there are for 30Ks and things like that. It's not necessarily what you're looking for to be out 2 or 3 hours mining, but it definitely is over an hour every run nowadays. That's just kind of the long and short of it. So, all right. So here we go. I'm approaching this guy. I'm going to shoot him. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back to my V-scan. I'm going to collapse it. I'm under 300 meters. So I'm going to be able to get my detailed scan. This is a P-type. This is just a picker. This is a tiny little guy. It's a Hephaestanite rock. And yep, we're not going to be mining him. So, I'm going to go back to a 90 degree. I'm going to ping out. You can see that's actually a purple. It's funny. We only have this one option here. It's a 1750. Let's go ahead and approach. And that's okay. This is going to be us for a little while. I mean, this is just kind of the new norm, is looking around for the right things to mine. Now, I, found some really nice gold the last time I was out here. So, I think I had about almost 50 SCU of laranite, which is a tier 2 resource, but then I had mixed in some terranite and some gold with it, and it was it was probably worth a little over 200,000 by the time I finished up. So this is it is nice having the wiggle room here. Now we haven't found anything to put our lasers on yet, but we certainly are trying to do that. So all right, we're approaching this rock now. There it is. Okay, I'll slow down. I was really kind of boogieing there. That's my fault. I am kind of power braking, slowing down. There we go. And this is, there's the old sun that we're looking to avoid. I will, on approach, like I said, we will shoot the rock a little bit. All right, and then we'll switch back, get a collapse scan going, and hopefully you can get scan results. It looks like we're going to be okay here. Another P-type, another picker. So we're just, we're hitting some pickers here. That is almost, it's a 45% Hephaestanite, but it's a picker, and I'm not gonna run down and grab, literally a half a SCU of stuff, So we're out here looking for a little bit more mass than that. So this is gonna be a 1700. This is gonna be an 1850. This is going to be a 5550. That's great. We'll probably end up going towards that guy. There's a 1900. So this is, once again, you know, I am seeing better clustering in the bands, you know, and this is a pretty tight cluster as well. It's interesting. So let's go ahead. We'll approach this guy. And wow, you know, let's go ahead and I'm just going to kind of roll back, you know, keep it out in front of me as much as I can. And just kind of approach and be okay with it. So, you know, sometimes when you ping, you're going to see the rock icons, and sometimes you ping, they'll switch back to the opportunity marker, depending on what angle you have your scanner at. Like I said, take off, you know, don't fly directly at the rocks. Take your foot off the gas, you know, fly around 250 to 270 and take your foot off the gas, you know, at a reasonable time. You know, don't, because this thing does not stop on a dime. It's a big boy. And so, you know, we haven't lost the rocks. They're out here. You know, you just have to kind of trust that they are and keep moving forward. And so, yeah, here we go. Here's our next opportunities. Notice I'm inching along. This isn't a racer. Nothing's, you know, everything's real. You know, you just gotta take your time. I mean, that's the best advice I can give you is don't be in a hurry, because it's not that kind of a situation anymore. You're not going to be speed running Prospector stuff. So once again, as on the approach, I like to shoot all the rocks. You know, and I'm actually going to kind of do a hard dip to this side of them, just so I can get more of the sun at my back. Then, you know, let me look back there. There we go, a little better. Now here we are. We're on approach. I'm going to go back to scan, and we got to get under 300. It's very important to be under 300 in order to get your scan results. Now this can happen, right? When you're getting that fast, you know, it's kind of being fast. These are kind of, I'm not seeing hit markers on the rocks, right? That's why you want to kind of shoot them all. This happens sometimes for sure. And so sometimes when this happens, I like to, you know, take in a look and see if there's a 30K type of thing happening, and they do. I mean, it's a pretty brutal time to be mining right now. We'll go back and see if we can get them to. Nope, we're not getting the scans that we're hoping to get this time. You can see, you see how on this right hand side it goes zip. It just zips right to the top. You know you're not getting a good scan on that thing. It's not slow scanning correctly. It's just zipping up to the top. So these are kind of the version of unscannables. Now, there is, you know, some people would say, well, just wait it out, V. You know, they'll turn. And sometimes they do. They really do. But, you know, I haven't had that good of success with that. I've noticed that the behavior is once they're kind of like this. I'm not saying I haven't had a couple turn. There they go. I was going to say, I'm not saying I haven't had a couple turn, but, you know, it did take a minute. This is an agricium rock. This is a picker. It's a 438 mass. So M types are good for Bexalite. They have a higher chance to spawn Bexalite, I believe. And so, yeah, the picker is registering, but this other one isn't. What's this guy doing? This maybe is another picker. It is a couple of pickers here, and that's got aluminum in it. Looks like the rock that's got a little mass to it's going to be a little grumpier. All right. Well, we're not gonna spend a lot of time hanging out here. If I can't get it to scan, we're just gonna move on. So let me just kind of try a little bit more. Nope. You know what? You've got to judgment's the better part of valor sometimes. You just have to move on. I don't want to sit there forever and wait. Now, the one thing I will say is I do like M types. I really do. You know, there is, you know, first, I should have said this already, but shout out to Red Monster and definitely shout out to Loud Guns. Their recent contributions to the community on mining stuff have both been fantastic. I would say we might be headed towards a 30K. I'm not, you know, that's unusual for me to do a 90 ping and not get any. Or the server latency is starting to pick up a touch, which is sad. This is all we have here. That's our only opportunity, so we're just going to go ahead and approach it. You can see that things are starting to, like, I'm not getting as fast of responses. That's okay, though. We're going to go ahead and just kind of keep it honest and keep looking at the rocks that we have the opportunities to get. And so, yeah, M-types actually have, oh, it's gold, actually. M-types have a higher percentage to spawn gold. Red Monster has done this incredible mineral chances by deposit type. And I'm not sure where he gets that information from, but whoo boy is it nice to have, you know. Not to say that it's all RNG, okay? It's not, we definitely know it's RNG, you know what I mean? So just because you have a higher chance, it doesn't mean that, it's going to be that great. I can see the rock right there, actually. We're approaching it. And so just keep approaching it. Kind of break this way. Definitely don't like having the sun in my eyes, so I'm going to kind of keep moving the sun out of my eyes when I have opportunities to. All right, so that was me. I definitely get the yellow outline here. This is an E-type, and it's a huge mass, great 33,000 mass rock. I'm not close enough to get what's in it. I mean, E-types, they're actually kind of medium. For gold, and so this is a gold rock. It's a nice gold rock, but it is beyond my range to break it. Now, maybe it is. It does have corundum in it, and corundum is actually kind of helpful. I know that this is probably impossible for me to mine. It really is, but I might take just a run at this with my big. I haven't really tried the big juicer yet, so I'm going to try that this time. I know for a fact I'm not going to get it with my center laser. Now, I'm going to move in here. Positioning is so important. You want to have it well below you, kind of not, and you want to be around 79 meters is where I am finding that I like. And I'm just kind of inching forward. Ooh, I'm definitely... Okay. Now, it's never a bad idea, and you have to be careful when you do this to kind of take a look to see if you can see the rock and where its orientation is to you. Oh, yeah, that's not good at all. So, let's back up. See, positioning is really important. So, where's it at now? It's about 100 meters. All right, so I think this will be fine for the Lancet as far as where we're at. Make sure your ship's not moving any. You can actually just straight turn off the engines if you want, because then you're not wasting any fuel, but you're not wasting a whole lot of fuel just sitting there anyways. And I will say that the other times I've done this, I'm not going to that laser. I'm going to go to the actual port side laser here, which is the one that's got the most juice. I'm not going to be able to break this in my mind. I don't think I can. But, I thought I'd give it a try. I haven't had a Helix 2 on anything yet, so let's go give it a try. There's no way, but I'm going to give it a heck of a try anyways. And we're just going to have some fun. Now, if I don't budge this thing at all, we're not going to take a lot of time and do this. But, yeah, this is the mining loop now. It's a lot different than it used to be. So... I'm keeping an eye on my hard drive space because we're 43 minutes into a video here. So up here, you're going to find the power on button. You want to kick that guy on. I've got a lot of stuff happening here. You can see this thing says impossible, and it probably is. But I thought I would at least see if there was any chance to get... we're not at a bad instability. We're really not at a bad instability. It's just the mass of the rock is too far. You can see it's not able to put any kind of charge in it at all. So I didn't think it was going to be able to. I figured 33,000 was a bridge too far for a solo type thing. Now, one thing about exiting the seats here, do not move forward. Just let them stand up and then turn. Once you're fully stood up, then turn. If you move forward, you can actually run yourself right out of the ship if you're you're in a hurry. And that's what I mean. Like, a lot of the in the hurry stuff is kind of out the window anymore with mining. And you might, hey, I mean, there's an argument about whether or not the profitability per hour is. Don't get me wrong. There's lots of things that I could have done to shave time on this trip, but just kind of making sure I'm bringing you along with me and keeping you up to speed. Anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna back away from this rock and just kind of move off to the side. All right, we're gonna go back into scan mode. All right, rinse and repeat. Just a ping out at a 90 ping. Lots of opportunity markers there. And we got a 1900, 1700, 1750, 5400. That's good. So we know that that's there. 1700. I think that said 1700. Let me just double check. What did that say? 1870. For a minute, I thought it said 18,000. Now, there was one that was right around here. I remember. That's my guy, the 5400. Now, I did kind of, all right, so that's actually, it's 3 rocks is what it is. But they're not necessarily in the exact same. And I'm a little out of I was out of distance, so it wasn't able to give me the diamond icons in my first pings, but now it did. So, all right, let's approach. Now, notice I'm approaching once again from the port side. I'm not facing exactly at the rocks. I've kind of rolled my scan angle back so I can kind of just keep them out in front of me as I approach. I'm approaching at 288, which is fine. And like I said, around 4,500 or so, I'll take my foot off the gas, and we'll just coast on in. So we're at 5,000 now. I'm kind of just pulling my foot off the gas, and we're coasting on in. Now you can see there's actually a single rock that we're going to run into, kind of prior to that one. We'll take a look at that one. It's going to come right into our range. Let me go ahead and it must have been the doublers there actually. So no big deal. Let's go ahead and we'll just we slow down. Let's approach them. Give them a little respect. Yeah, and there we are, seeing some hydrogen fuel issues, already. That's not uncommon. All right, let's go. Let's be careful about our, we want to shoot the rocks, right? I can tell that they're registering on the rocks. That's good. And then we'll go ahead and go back to our V-scan, collapse it, and we'll go ahead and see what we have here. This is a P-type. It's a picker. No, it may not be a picker. This is Hephaestanite. Yep. I'm not seeing the, definitely haven't seen a good tier 1 match yet. And that's just because we're getting bad RNG. That's a massive 142. That's a picker for sure. That's a barrel rock. And I don't think I can get this guy at this distance, but let's go. We're going to go ahead and just approach a little bit. I'm not going to give it a ton of gas or acceleration. And we're just going to kind of get in on a range on this guy and take a look at this guy. Let me go ahead and shoot this guy if I can. Can't tell if I'm getting hit markers or not on it. Oh, yep, looks like we're gonna. I still might be at the wrong range. This is an E-type, great mass, 22,000 masses potential. It's a Hephaestanite rock, a good Hephaestanite rock at almost half Hephaestanite. But Hephaestanite is kind of one of a lower mid-grade tier, and so not necessarily a bad choice in one sense. So let me go ahead. I'll go ahead and mine this one. You are going to be picking up some mid-range stuff. So let's go ahead and just I'll approach this guy, and for the sake of actually doing some mining in this video, I'll go ahead and approach this guy now. I probably would say that if I was alone, I may not necessarily. There's nothing wrong with mid-grade stuff. I'm not saying that. But if I was alone, I may not necessarily, do this one here. Now I'm going to try and get this guy at about 79. I'll even back up a touch. Right in that area. And then I never think it's a bad idea to just double check that you look like you're in a good position. Yep, that doesn't look bad. Back up just a touch. And then let me go ahead and I will leave the seat. So, yeah, I mean, the Klein should be, it may not be able to break this rock. I guess one thing I should have looked at is made sure it wasn't if it's a barrel secondary, it may not be getting broke. It is the mass is kind of out at my range, but I do have the hammer as well to give it a try as well. So let me go ahead and turn on this laser here. Okay. Yeah, we're not bad. I mean, our position's not perfect, but not bad. So I definitely have an impossible. My resistance is next to nothing, but my instability is very high. But look at this. At 100% laser, we are definitely able to break it. So, let's go ahead and find where we're still pushing up at 50. Notice this says impossible, but we're still doing it. But you have to understand something. Sometimes there's a server tick that readjusts whether or not this stuff is capable or not. So I am able to break impossible sometimes, and I can't break easy sometimes. It's a little bit of a, they probably need to do a little work and dial that part of it in a little bit. But you know what? We're not doing bad at all. And, at 38%, we're just creeping up. This should be a pretty easy break, and we should be able to take on a pretty considerable amount of Hephaestanite. Now, Hephaestanite, as far as the tier 2s go, it's pretty bottom of the barrel. But it's okay. The one thing I will say that's nice about it, at a 47, when you start getting up around 47%, a lot of times it does break cleaner. So I'm just kind of, just sailing through here. You can see look at the resistance. One of the reasons is because there's copper. Copper has, is a good resistance modifier. And so that's why we were able to crack this 22,000 so easily. So what we're looking for are, we're going to try and prioritize the 100% Hephaestanites. Like we're hoping that there's a few of those in here, right? That's our goal. So that's almost all copper. That's a good sign, right? That there was, not like just a leak percentage of Hephaestanite in that guy. That's 100% Hephaestanite. Okay. This guy here. This is also going to be 100% Hephaestanite. Yep, that's great. This guy here. 6105 mass. That could be 100. That's 18% Hephaestanite. Okay. This guy here is, and this is always a good idea to scan these guys. There's 100% copper. I would think this guy here might have to be 100% Hephaestanite, I would imagine. Or darn close. So, yeah, so we didn't break it. It didn't break too unclean. And so there is some 100%ers here. Now let's take a look. I'm just going to hit one of these guys for a sec and see what we have. It's interesting. I've got it at 20%. Look at the instability. It's crazy on that guy. So, it's going to be very, very interesting. So, here's what I'm going to do, right? I'm actually going to go try my Hofstede to see if that guy deals with that situation a little better. It may not. I'm just kind of curious if the Hofstede will kind of deal with that a little better. And that's why we have the size 1 laser, is to deal with that kind of stuff a little differently. And we're, of course, the hammer I'm not going to bother with. So let's see if I have any better luck with the Hofstede to do these secondary breaks. I mean, that's why we have it. I will tell you, this is the first time I've had 100% Hephaestanite, so I don't exactly. That's a very high instability, and I don't really like that high instability. And it's something for me to note in the future. Because once instability gets north of 3, it's basically a resistance modifier. I mean, it basically becomes very difficult to deal with. So, same kind of gig here. We'll power on. We'll see what we have here. Now, this is saying easy. When I, let's just kind of see if we can. Now this is dealing with it better. It really is. I mean, you can see it actually is dealing with it much better. And this is why you want to have, this is a pairing that I'm having pretty good luck with. I'm using the Klein to do the primary crack or the hammer to do the primary crack. I haven't really used the hammer to do a primary crack yet. But, I certainly could. And you can see here, I can control the laser intensity pretty good. I can actually, at 7%, it barely rises. So I can actually, nothing's crazy here. I mean, this is going to be pretty, I should be able to control this pretty good, even if I take it up to like 15% to kind of more rush it up there. And then as soon as it gets in the green, I will drop it down significantly. And we'll do it that way. Boom. All right, we'll pull her down. Now I'm just kind of testing the waters here. Obviously I want to make sure that we're staying clean. We're still climbing at 9. At 6, we're dropping. So 7 seems to be a good place. All right, cool. All right, so we got that 100% Hephaestanite rock. I'm going to extraction mode, and I know this is just clean stuff, so I'm pulling it on. Not the densest material in the world, but not bad. Looks like this is going to be around 4 or 5 SCU here. Good. I like it. Yeah, 9. Is this going to be like 9? Oh, yeah, that's almost like a 1-to-1 ratio for... So that's good. We're going to actually get quite a bit of Hephaestanite out of this rock here that we've managed to break. Which is good. All right, so we've got our next 100%er. That's a 2483. And you can see the Rieger, the focus module has done a good job at opening up. And actually, we're controlling this. We should be able to kind of break this guy too. Like, I should be able to run it up fairly quickly, actually. Like, if I take it up to 100, it should run up fairly quickly. But then I'll reduce it significantly as it gets closer to the optimal. So mining is just there's a whole different level of understanding how it works. I mean, we're an hour in and we're just starting to pull stuff on and at a reasonable amount, okay? And this is a tier 2 resource, although a lower one. All right, we got to roll back. Let me just kind of find the sweet spots. Okay, 15. 15 is holding real good. Nah, it's dipping. 20. 20 seems like it's right there. It's hanging. We have got this easy breaking. All right, I'll go right into extraction and up. We're pulling it in. 3 of these rocks were clean 100%ers. So, there's nothing wrong with grabbing this stuff. Now, the good news is, like I said, we're in the air in Halo. There's a very, very unlikely chance that we're going to have a whole lot of interactions with other players. So, it's something to keep in mind. So we are getting north of, we've got about 30 or SCU coming on board here of, we got one more. I think there's one more 100%er as well after this. So, we still are hoping that we're going to, find a tier 1 resource that we can, get a little on board to help kind of make a little more capital with this guy. And this is what I mean by cherry picking the refinery as well. Cherry picking the refinery is important because, we have now almost 40 SCU of Hephaestanite on here. My Star Citizen audio. I wonder if I don't know. I'm looking out at my audio on Discord and I'm wondering, do I not have my Star Citizen audio? All right, now this guy's cranked to the limit, and look at this. This is interesting. Oh, there she goes. I was gonna say, I'm not sure exactly what's, this one almost seems like it's a bridge too far, and I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe because its instability is just a little higher. So, you know what? Maybe we'll switch back to the other laser for this one. You can see the instability is just not what we're what we're hoping for. So let me go do this. I'm kind of curious. We're going to go use the hammer. It does have a negative 30% resist, but the instability is what's kind of holding us back here. Yeah, it's a weird thing. I mean, those 1650s were breaking fine, but this one that's it's a little bit bigger is not. I mean, it's just kind of the nature of the beast here. I am gonna go try. I'm gonna just try the big laser while I'm down here. I don't think it'll be a big difference, but there is a lot of power in it, so maybe I can, just kind of override. Now, it might be a bit of a hayride, and if it is, I don't want to blow myself up or, mess myself up. So the fact that I've gotten already a pretty good load, I mean, maybe I just, I'm not necessarily, maybe I'm not kitted for a 2500 pure Hephaestanite rock. Let's go ahead and take a look. And I can also try the other, it seems, it is, but this is the guy, right? This is that 20, yes, so. I'm just kind of curious what's going on here with the instability is more 4. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, it's just interesting to me. Now, we'll have to see after a server tick happens, if for some reason, I mean, this is just kind of the weird game that I've been playing, and it's kind of fun, in some capacity, it's different, but it is kind of fun that you have these different laser types that, that can get the job done in different ways. Now, this is kind of me just kind of hammering the thing with power. Powering my way through it. I don't exactly know why that other laser had massive instability and this one doesn't, but I'm not going to, I'm sure there's some science behind it, and maybe Red Monster or whatever, but now I've got, at 25% laser power, I'm still gaining, so I'm going to have to toggle off, probably. But maybe not. It may reach the end of it. It's not going up that bad, so. And this is pure, once again, this is going to put us over 50 SCU. Yeah. So we'll begin pulling this stuff in. This is even more than, than the other two, so good stuff. This actually is turning out to be a pretty good demonstration of the different lasers, kind of working their magic, right? And solving problems. And so, yeah, we are, we got a really good Hephaestanite run going here. And notice, like I said, it broke clean because it was north of 5%. North of 45% on something normally means you can get some clean breaks. You're not guaranteed clean breaks, but you definitely can get some. And so this is kind of a slower extraction process, by the way. But we'll take it. And we should be somewhere around 50 or so SCU of Hephaestanite, when we're done here. And so, yeah, we're going to be half, better than half full. This guy is going and going and going. All right. A little bit slower extraction going on here. I don't think our extraction power is all that great. Probably we're not in a great range either. But it is getting it, so we'll take it. Crossing 48 SCU. And so it is funny because we talk about how extraction speed isn't really a thing. Or it's kind of like one of those things. You can tell there's a significant difference. Look how slow this thing is extracting. Probably had I known that it was going to extract this slow, I may have ran over to the Klein or the Hofstede, to do this extraction work. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's definitely coming in. It's like coming in at 0.02 SCU. That's really funny. It's toggling 0.02. It's coming in slow. If this other rock is anywhere near 797, I'm gonna maybe just go to a different laser and do the extraction. Wow, interesting. Well, this is something I'm learning too. So no big deal. I'm going to go ahead and turn this guy off. I'm going to run back over to the Hofstad and see if that thing's going to pull it in faster than 0.03, because that is slow. Holy mackerel. Once again, don't be pushing forward like crazy here, so you can push yourself right out on the EVA on this thing. You just want to stand up and get yourself out of the jam there. So, all right, we're going to open this door, and we're going to go. And I'm going to go back over here and hope this laser is a little better pulling those couple purples in. We'll see. But yeah, a lot different. Consistently, a lot funner. Now, we're not making a killing on this, by the way. Now this is me going to extraction mode. I would say that's probably considerably faster. 0.3, 0.2 instead of 0.0. Yeah, like 10 times faster. Yeah, I like that a lot better. That's way better. 0.6. Yeah, that's awesome. So, wow. Yeah, I would have never dreamed we would be close to 60 SCU in this rock, I guess. That is definitely a lesson to me. That's 100% copper. That's a lot of copper. There is 18% Hephaestanite in this. I could see if we could break this rock. Let's just go ahead and see. Maybe we'll have a clean break. I'm definitely not going to pull a whole lot of copper on board to up my Hephaestanite. But let's go ahead. I mean, while we're here, you might as well just see if you get, a 70% or something. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of trash on the bowl. We'll see if it gets a tick out, and this does look like it would eventually build up and be able to get it. Let's just kind of keep giving it a moment of opportunity here. And we'll just go ahead. Let's go find something else. It was only an 18% anyways. It probably wasn't going to break that clean, and it wasn't happening very fast. And jumping into the Klein at this point, as opposed to kind of maybe just standing up and going to look for, maybe a tier 1 resource to kind of, hopefully find a nice tier 1 to offset it a little bit, is you definitely want to get a little bit of Bexalite or Terranite, a little bit of gold or something on board, to kind of even it out a little, because we definitely have a ton of Hephaestanite on board. And Hephaestanite doesn't sell that great. I mean, it's not bad, don't get me wrong. I mean, you're looking at Hephaestanite, if I were to look at that real quick, Hephaestanite sells, at around, at refined or whatever is, 27, 21 type of thing. So, not great. Anyways, let's go ahead and get some situational awareness here. Let me think about this. I'm going to back away. All right, and I'm going to swing out this way. I think this is going to get me away from these. Perfect. All right, we're going to reset here. We're going to do another 90 ping. And off we go. So, opportunity markers. Let's take a look here. We've got 1720. 1870. 1870. There's a 56. Let's go ahead and ping that guy. Cool. Let's go ahead and push and hold. Yep, that's fine. While I have those here, I will look at these just to make sure they're nothing crazy. They're usually, obviously, there's one right here, a 1900. But I want to go back to this one that was right over this way. Let me just keep it. It was a ways out. It was this guy here, right? Nope. It wasn't this guy either. Ah, it was that guy. This 5600. Yeah, there it is. So let's go ahead and we'll just kind of approach these. Notice I'm doing about 280. Foot off the gas around between 5,000 and 4,500. Coast on in. 3 beautiful, rocks. And like I said, take the time to go to band 5 because I'm seeing a cluster difference. If I go to, wow, there's 3 rocks over that way too, so we're really good in the sense. Oops, I'm still boogieing quite a bit. Let's go ahead and slow this bus down. So definitely doing that, slowing the bus down. I'm going to turn this guy off as we approach. I'm going to be shooting at these rocks. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and go to a V-scan. Now, I can tell right now that these don't look like they're scanning for that, so let's just wait a second. That one looks like it's going to. And that is a Q-type, but Q-types don't mean Quantanium anymore at all, by any stretch of the imagination. That is a Bexalite rock, though, and it is a Bexalite rock at a decent percentage as well. So, let me go ahead. I'm going to toggle back over to my Q-type rock, or by percentage space. Hold on, I'm just flipping through something here. There we go. The Q types are, you know, they do have kind of a medium opportunity for Bexalite, which is good. This guy's acting strange. I know this guy's giving me a yellow outline, but it doesn't want to give me the, you know, the slow scan to give me the results. So 7,000 mass rock here. And that's an iron and beryl rock. Now, I avoid beryl like the plague right now because it's... Yeah, and that guy's acting funny. Let me just kind of... I'm going to shoot the crap out of him. See if I can get him. There he goes. Now, this is a 15,000 mass rock. Cross our fingers, maybe some Bexalite in this guy. Gold at 34%. This is a great rock. It is mixed with iron. And so, you know, this is not going to necessarily be an easy break, but we should be able to break this guy at 35% gold at a 16,000 mass. It's a really nice rock, and the one behind it isn't bad either. So I'm going to swing out this way. We are going to position ourselves to take on that rock. I'm going to start inching my way forward. You don't want to get too crazy. I'm looking to get about 79 away again. You know, kind of inching our way forward, inching our way forward. All right, boom. Good positioning. I like that. You know, it's always a good idea to just kind of check your position. You know, make sure you're not looking ridiculous. Like at one time I was way out in front of it. I had no idea I was. Now we'll try the climb first. We'll see how that guy goes. I do have the hammer on board if, you know, but I think the climb will get this guy, dependent on the iron, you know, but I have a good feeling about this, so we'll see. All right, and there she goes. Now you can see that's the old Quantanium speckling down there. Oh yeah, good positioning. Got plenty of wiggle room here. And already a good sign just kicking on the laser. That instability, though. Yikes. Nope, looking good. All right, so, you know, instability is so weird. That being said, this is a nice gold rock. This is a 35% gold. You know, it's not gonna, it may not break into hundos because it's not north of 40. And really north of 45 is where you see them break into hundos. But there's going to be some good percentage rocks in here. Now, if gadgets were working better, they're just clunky right now. You know, EVAing out of a mole, attaching a gadget and dinking around with that is just not my jam. You know. And part of it is because like the sliders aren't lined up right, and it's just a hot mess. But you know, I might go out and put a Bormax on this thing if it wasn't a hot mess. Alright, we lost it all. I lowered my laser power pretty significantly. What the heck? What? I've had this happen a couple times where, like, you could see, like, I was in the optimal, but, and it looks like it might work its way back up, but I don't know. It's being weird. Like, I've had this happen a couple times to me where like all of a sudden, like it seems like it registers and all of a sudden things, wait, you're not allowed to do that rock with that laser. So that is kind of weird. Let's go over to the hammer, I guess, and try that. Look, you can see it clearly at 100% I'm losing. So yeah, that's just one of those weird things. Now, I don't know. I mean, you know, I'll have to check the Helix too and see if it's going to do better than that. That's weird to me. It's not even it's a value that I felt like we had really good, but it does seem to register sometimes. All of a sudden, like another tick happens. And it's like, oh yeah, whoops, you're not allowed to do that, Rock. It's a weird thing. I've seen that a few times and I really don't know what to make of it. All right. Hopefully this guy will get it. This is a nice rock. I don't want to have to leave it. We'll see what we got. I mean, we definitely have brought something that's got some laser power to it. But we have the laser power reduced a little bit, but it is significantly, more than the Klein, I believe. We'll just have to see how it goes. All right, so it says impossible. Now it says challenging, so this actually looks like I may be in better shape. We'll have to see. Can I put anything into it? Nope. But let's give it a moment to see if it will. That's too bad. It is, I mean, look, it's a healthy size rock, you know what I mean? It's definitely a healthy size. This is a Helix 2. And I'm giving her everything I can, but she's not putting any power into it at all. So, and I'm positive my laser won't. So, that's too bad. Well, it looks like we're going to have to go away from this gold rock. That's, that usually, I don't exactly understand that kind of that auto correction. I don't know if it's correcting in the right way or not. It seems like, I wasn't willing to, kind of blast up there. There's no way that S1 is doing it. So, that's not happening for sure. I might just, I don't know. Part of me just wants to try the Klein again. And I'm going to. It's a weird thing to me that it did what it did. And I wonder if I just blasted it up to the top and just got it in. Right off the bat, if it would get me there. But probably not, but we're just going to give it a shot because this is us learning on the fly too at the same time that you're learning. So it just seems like this guy should be able to break this. But no, there's nothing. I'm not getting anything. What's weird is the resistance isn't even that bad. I mean, it's like 18 and the instability is 2.67. To me, this is a breaker, right? Well, there is this other rock right here. Now that's the beryl and iron rock, and then there was this other one. That was the Bexalite rock. I wonder if I can get that guy from here. No, probably not with its resistance at that, or its instability at that amount. And at the distance I'm at. Yep, she definitely phased out as well. Although I am significantly too far away. But that's a tiny mass rock. We should be able to break that guy. So let's go get that guy. I mean, I think that's our only bet. I mean, I'm having, it's a little bit of a weird one. The fact that if that gold was mixed with corundum, I think we would have been fine. If it was mixed with copper, I think it would have been fine. The fact that it was mixed with iron, I think, is what got us a little bit, just because the resistance modifier in iron. Let me look at that a little bit as I look at the charts here. So yeah, I mean, iron has got a resistance. No, actually, iron is a negative resistance modifier. I guess if it was mixed with copper, it would have had a better resistance negative resistance modifier. Hard to say. Whatever reason, I couldn't crack it, so I'm not gonna. It is what it is. You gotta kind of just, like I said earlier in the stream, or in is judgment's the better part of valor. You just gotta kind of have to. All right, now this is that 40% Bexalite. I was kind of a ways away. Let's go ahead and get a little closer. 79. Let's check the. Yeah. Maybe a little lower. Back. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and... I'm going to go probably... We'll see if the Klein 2 can do this guy. I would think it should be able to. I really do. I mean, it's a tiny mass rock. So we'll give it a try and see what we have here. Okay. And we are hour and 20 already, huh? All right. So, oh yeah, obviously the distance has played a huge role in it. Okay. The instability is a bit of a hay wagon, though. Look at the instability on that guy. So this is why we bring the Hofstede, though, right? I mean, honestly, let me just kind of... that's just a hay wagon. So, with that being said, you can see... Let's go jump over to the Hofstede. And this is... I think eventually it'll be second nature. Like, oh, this mixed with this. I know I need this laser. I'm not there yet. By any stretch of the imagination. Like, I almost ran to the Hofstede first because it was just a small rock anyways. And who knows? Maybe the Hofstede won't even be able to do it. It's hard to say. But this different mix of lasers is interesting. And so, let's just go ahead and we'll head down and see if we have any luck. With the Hofstede, size 1. And see how we go. Get in the turret, guy. Alright. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out. Okay. It says easy for this guy. We'll see. And this is what we're contending with. I mean, you can see once that instability is north of 3, I mean, look, it's just like, it's not... I have a giant optimal window. It says easy. This is a 3600 mass rock. Now, I understand I have a size 1 Klein. I get that. But I can't break this rock with 3 different lasers. And it's 3000 mass. And that's... The iron is not helping. I will readily admit that. You know what I mean? But, all right, let's go over to the hammer and see if... the couple of times, and see if the Helix 2 can actually put enough just energy to offset the instability. So, all right, see, I almost did it right there. I almost got myself. You really don't want to be pushing forward at all. There's not a lot of plank there. Oh man, so this is the musical chairs that you got to do, but. The fact that you have these options are fantastic. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like I said, this is the age of mole mining. This is no question about it. You gotta have different kit. You gotta, And so let's take a look at it now. Maybe? We'll have to see after it registers. Yeah, I apparently I don't have a laser on board. Maybe. We'll have to see, but maybe I don't have a laser on board that's capable of breaking this 3600 mass rock. Because it's got iron and Bexalite in it. I mean, to me, that's just a little strange. I could be wrong about that, but I don't really have an answer. I mean, I have, maybe the impact would help with this, and maybe this would climb, out of it at some point. But you can see that the Helix even. I mean, listen, it's a nice rock, but it's not, nothing to write home about. It's not like I've got a million AUEC wrapped up in there where I want to run out and do something crazy with it. I'm going to give the Helix a little more just time. Because it is starting to it looks like after it's kind of settled in, it looks like it's like, maybe. So I'm going to sip some water here and give it a couple minutes and see what happens. Or at least 30 seconds. If it falls out, though, which it did, yeah, that's it. So yeah, I will say this is kind of, I have 3 different lasers on board. you know, a pretty big mix of them, and one of them's a Helix size 2, and I can't break that rock. I have no idea. It's a 3600 mass rock that I can't break. Which was funny because I broke much bigger gold rocks, but they were mixed with copper and corundum. So it must be the iron is, you know, causing some kind of a... I just don't have the right... This is where that, you know, they talked about matching lasers. This is where that, I think the matching laser thing comes in. Although you can't, there's no... You can't really get a meta out of that. It's, you know, like there's, like, I haven't been able to, like, figure anything out, so... with that, but no big deal. I'm not, you know, just mentioning. So go back to scanning here. Let's go ahead and we'll do another. We'll do another 90 ping, and out we go. And it looks like there's only one opportunity marker up there, and that guy is a 1720. So we'll just go ahead and prioritize him and move on in and see if we can get lucky. So. I'm going to scroll this back to about a 90. We're cruising at about 289, 290. Little hotter than, so we'll probably pull up our foot off the gas at about 5,000 or so and cruise on in from there. And so, yeah, this is kind of what I have been talking, you know, this is, you're going to be spending some, you really better like mining if you want to do mining for profitability now. So now, don't get me wrong. This probably won't be the most profitable run because I ended up with Hephaestanite, but it, you know, it's not. It won't be terrible. Ooh. That's how quick that happens. And we're moving in. We're moving in. I can see hit markers. Good. That's a good thing. Oh! It's a picker. Yeah, it was coming in hot. It's a picker, too. What size is a picker is it? It's a 971 picker. And it is 26% Bexalite. That's not enough, really, for me to kind of go down to the laser. And kind of get out of its way. And we'll roll back to a 90 scan. We'll look down at our, you know, and rinse and repeat. All right, we got lots of opportunity markers this time. There's an 1850. There's an 1850. There's a 1750. There's an 1870. And there's a 1720. So we're looking at prioritizing the closest one. That's this guy down here. Let's go ahead and head towards it. And we will go ahead and just kind of keep it out there. We'll look at this as we're approaching. It's a 1900, okay. Let me go ahead and get a collapse scan on that guy. Let's turn him into a rock icon. And roll back and kind of keep him on us, keep him out in front of us. And settle down here. Talking to my wife real quick. Alrighty, yep, we're good. You know, like I said, you take your foot off the gas there, that's good. You know, you just want to kind of then, you know, approach a little bit. And let's go ahead and get a scan going here. Oh, it's an M-type. Really nice mass, too. It's an agricium rock. Man, I've already got a lot of tier 2 material on board. And if it was like 45 or something, I might do it. But that's a lot of you know, of tier 2 material. There's a 17 hundo, and then what do we have here? All right, that's a 19 hundo. Okay. I kind of lost the 17. Let's go ahead and reping. Oh, what is it right out in front of me here? 17 hundo. We'll go ahead and we'll approach this guy because it's close. Yep. I don't want to get too crazy, but let's go ahead and go take a look. Coming in hot. A little hot, not terrible. I can see the rock there as we're approaching. Turn this off. Oh, I gotta be careful not to read, you know. Who said you weren't gonna be shooting rocks mining, you know? It's funny. Alright. Well, yep, didn't want to do that. Let's do this. Cross our fingers here. Hopefully we'll find something nice. It's a C-type rock. Oh, the mass is out of control here. 47,000, which is awesome. That's a tungsten rock. Wow, that's a big old tungsten rock. That's a heavy boy. That's a heavy guy. So, all right, we got some opportunity markers. We are 1900, and we are 1900. We'll prioritize 1900. Oh, we're not getting diamond icons because of our range, but we managed to get it there. So, all right, we'll approach, and yeah, we're cruising at about 263. So we'll take our foot off, around 4,800 or so, and coast on in. If you want to keep the marker out in front of you, you can. Yep. 263, we're cruising on in. And at about 48, I'll take my foot off the gas. And we'll just kind of coast on in towards it. And you can see it if you want. I mean, it's right there. If you want to reping to kind of keep it out in front of you so you feel a little more comfortable, that makes sense to me. But I'm just I'm just approaching here with not touching anything. The mole will just continue to just cruise forward. So, all right, we're looking for another rock here. All right, we're gonna shoot this guy as we approach. Let's see what we got. This is going to be a mass of 2,500. And it is a Negricium rock at 44%. If it wasn't so little, if that's an awful little guy. All right, so reset here. Opportunity markers, that's a 1750. 1750, 1720. So, I will prioritize, unless there's, that's X out there at 16, 1900. And I don't know that I've ever picked up a rock at 16K. It's interesting. What is that? 1700. Yeah, that is interesting that picked that up at 1600. I wonder if it'll do it again. Yeah, when there's an 11.6 that I wasn't on my finger before. I'm just going to approach, I normally would prioritize one that's, and it might not be anything. I just think it's interesting that it's 16, that's a long ways away. I don't know that I've ever seen one show up at 16. I'm going to I'm just going to approach it just because it's interesting to me that it picked it up at such a distance. It may mean nothing. I mean, I look for anomalies in things that happen sometimes, and just kind of was interesting to me that it was that, Obviously, there's lots of opportunity markers around. There it is. Oop, I'm flying kind of right at it. I don't want to do that. All right, foot off the gas here. Boom. We'll cruise on in and take a look at what we got. Approaching an hour and a half here in this video. I mean, this is, don't get me wrong. This is a little slower than, obviously we haven't had great RNG. We haven't found, real nice rocks or whatever. Kind of heavy foot on the gas, or foot on the brake here. V it out. Boom, boom, boom. V it out. All right. And it's an E-type. Good mass. 22,000 mass. It is an Negricium rock at 31%. So not really what we're looking for. And this is me, I'm trying to be a little picky. I do want to get a little more There's an 1850 at 12.8. Here's one out here at 15.4. Probably an interesting... 3,700. That may be an interesting... So let's approach those. I'm not getting the secondary icons yet because I'm too far away. Looks like you got to be within 14 now. Boom, I'll send it at 14. Yep, it's 14 is when... So that's interesting. You know, like if it seems like if it's out there a little further, it's probably maybe a little bit bigger mass rock, which is kind of cool. I'm assuming that. Or there's, you know... so we're cruising at about 263. I'm going to send out a ping here to kind of keep it out in front of me. Collapse that ping. Good. All right. We're pretty good shape here. I'm doing at 4,800 or so. I'll take my foot off the gas. Okay. Cruise on in. We'll take a look at these two and see what we got. All right. All right, we're going to turn off V. We're just kind of slowing down here. Love it. All right, let me just shoot these guys. All right, and then we'll see what we have. 298 should give me this is a Q-type rock. And it's got copper and beryl. Okay, not great. And so what about this little nugger here? Looks like that is a 4,500 mass rock. And that has got heavy borace and Hephaestanite in it. So that's got a lot of borace and Hephaestanite. Of course, you know, borace is one of the higher tiers in you know, in second tier. If it was a little bit bigger rock, I might do it. But like I said, I'm trying to be a touch picky, which I know is not necessarily serving us well for the video here, but maybe it is. You know, we'll just have to kind of see. There's a 1720. This guy's out here at 14 and a half, and I'm picking him up 1,700. There's a diamond icon I noticed right here, so let's go ahead and get a scan on it. Just gonna send this thing out. Yeah. How far is this guy? Just 5,000 out. Let's go ahead and approach him. I don't want to get too crazy, but we'll just go ahead and approach this guy. He's right there, so let's just take a peek at him. And see what we have. Alright. We are definitely... Ooh, I'm way too hot. I'm slowing down. I got the power brake on. Yeah. Came in a little hot on that guy, but that's okay. Oh, you can tell that's a ghost rock, too. Ah, it's a picker. Alright, well, what size picker is it? 711 picker. It is aluminum and beryl. Alright, now what we're looking for. RNG has not been real good. I mean, I will tell you, I've had a little better luck out this way, but that's okay. I mean, this is just... I don't want to pretend like this is, you know, easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's no longer... There's a lot of time and energy and effort put into making, you know, I mean, and there's 2 rocks there. Let's go ahead and approach those. I mean, this is the life now. I mean, if you... Now, don't get me wrong. Once I got 50 SCU of Hephaestanite, I could have ran in if I wanted with it, but nothing to write home about there. You know, probably not better than 80,000. You know, so we'll just keep on keeping on here. All right, we're approaching those, and there's a third one there as well, so that's kind of fun. Keep approaching here. Take our foot off the gas. And we are going to see how this goes. They're right there. We're still kind of moving in on them. Cross our fingers, and hopefully we can get something halfway decent to mine here. I'm going to go ahead and start kind of stomping on the brake. Gonna switch and shoot. It is kind of weird you have to shoot, but it's just kind of part of the game. I mean, it's just, it wakes them up. I don't really have a real, I don't have a real interesting sense of why that is. This is an S-type. It's a very tiny guy, 2100 mass. It is a Grisium at 40%. This guy doesn't look like it's much bigger, really. 1500, yeah, it's a little guy too. And that is a tungsten barrel rock. Yikes. Now there is a diamond icon that's really close. I don't see it right now though. All right, there's a 1850. There's a 19 hundo. There's a 1700. There is a 1720. And there is a 1720. Yeah, so we'll prioritize the ones that are kind of closer to us. So let's go ahead and do that. Maybe we'll see that diamond icon as we... Oh, there's something right there at 6,000 away. 1720. Let's turn him into a rock icon. Good. Approach him and see what we have. All right, foot off the gas here. We're kind of we'll coast in on him. And yeah, we're approaching a couple of hours of work here. So that's, yeah, I mean, was hoping that this dirt under the fingernails thing would have went a little faster for you today, but I just think this is kind of the new norm. 50% hydrogen, that's okay. Okay. Oh, now see, that's how you can accidentally trim up your velocity, and I've been doing that a lot. I've got to be careful. Good mass. So cross our fingers here that there's a decent tier 1 in here. It's a Hephaestanite at 31%. That's not. It's too low of a you know. If it was north of 40, I might top off. All right, so we've got 1750, 7600. Let's just go after the 7600. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go get that guy. We're just going to continue to go after the 7600 and hopefully there's a rock in there that's worth taking. Whenever you see, a cluster, you just want to prioritize it and get after it. So we're going to do that. We're moving forward. So let's see how we do. Uh-oh, we're zooming in. We're way too hot right now. Way too hot. You can see I'm going to go through them. But that was bad, bad, bad. Very bad. I finally did slow down and stop. But that was not cool. That was just, that could, I could have definitely rammed into one. You're never going to avoid those things. Now, it's not a terrible thing. Like I can, did I hit them? No. But, it's one of those things where, that could have been ugly. 6,500 mass rock. This has got aluminum and barrel in it. Okay, what about this guy up here? These all look like they're, 1,200 mass rock. This has got aluminum in it. So this is kind of a heavy aluminum. What about this guy? E-type, 550. This is a picker. Aluminum and the Grisium. $842 mass rock. Aluminum and barrel. Yiker doos. Nothing we're interested in, that's for sure. All right, so what do we have here? 1850. 1850. 1900, but that 1900 is the closest one. So let's go ahead and prioritize that one and head on in. Yeah, woo, boy, yeah, we're RNG is getting us a little bit here. We're just not having real good luck finding, you know, finding some good rocks. But it's not horrible, you know, but it's not great. I mean, all right, what we got here is we're approaching there. That's an 1850. I'll keep an eye on that one though, because we were definitely at a range. It popped up at 15, and single rock at that distance can certainly be, you know, a bigger guy. So I'll keep an eye on that as we approach this guy. Oh, there it is. I need to slow down. Good. Okay. E-type, 884 mass, and we are getting aluminum. Oh, that's a 54% Hephaestanite. It's interesting. You know, what's weird is I didn't hardly see any Hephaestanite the first time I was out here. That's that 1900. That's that 1850. I'm going to approach this 11.6. 1900. I think that was the one that was at 50, the range of 15 before. And so, you know, we'll see if it's a little bit bigger rock. Kind of testing my meta here. Now we are doing 290, so we got to be foot off the gas here around at about 5200. We'll take a good look at it and see what we have. We are definitely hoping to find something with some, you know, a little bit of love in it, for sure. All right, and there's another diamond icon right off to my port side. Let's go ahead and put the brakes on here. Boom. All right. Almost looks like that's a picker size, but I could be wrong. Yeah. 252, just a little guy. That's weird. Aluminum or whatever. You know, that's strange to me that I picked that up at that distance and it was so little. All right, rinse and repeat. You know, I don't want to cover ground that I've already covered. So 90 ping out there. What do we got? There's a 17. Here's one out here at 14. It's a 1750. There's a 1900. 1750. 1720. Okay. I'll go ahead and approach this guy. All right, we're not terribly far away. I'm doing 265, so we'll foot off the gas around 4,900 or so and coast on in. Keep her out in front of us. There we go. Cool. Start slowing down. Slowing down. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and give her a shoot. All right. Cross our fingers here. S-type, 4,200 mass. And that is going to be tungsten and beryl. Not what we're looking for. Okay. Boy, my tier 1s have been pretty few and far between here. 1870. 1850. And then these ones aren't that far away. 1850. And then this guy here. Let's go ahead and ping on this guy at 1700. And he is not too far, so we'll just kind of get him on the list. Cruising at about 260 here. And foot off the gas. Boom. Boy, it looked like somebody turned off the sun for a second there. I'm sure it was a shadow of a big asteroid behind me, but it was funny. So. Yeah, it's out here. Yeah, I can see it right there. And inch our way forward. All right, what do we got? We got a C-type, a 1200 mass rock, and that is Hephaestanite. Man, Hephaestanite has been strong out here today. It's weird. Like, I hardly seen any Hephaestanite my first couple runs. Okay, what do we have there? A 19 hundo. Interesting. And a 19 hundo at 13. So let's go ahead and prioritize the 13 over the 15 for sure. Cruising by some big rocks. And we are approaching 2 hours. This is definitely a day in your life. This is how mining goes now. This is, you know, I mean, I have not been lucky with RNG. No question about it. And there was a 3,000 gold rock that I could not crack with any of my lasers, as you recall, like an hour ago. So that was not good. But it is what it is. Wow, lots of opportunity markers, though. Interesting, so. Oh, I'm zipping along here. I don't know why. Let's go ahead and shut her down. There we go. All right. E-type. 2,000 mass. That is mostly inert. It looked like it had Hephaestanite in it. Wow. All right, let's see if we can get a kind of a, you know, hopefully we can get a cluster here. 1870. There's a 3800. That's good. 1870. 17 hundo. All right. 1850, 1900, 1900, $17, $18, $17, $19, $18, a lot of single rocks, 1900. All right, there was one up here that was a little better than that, though. 3,800. And another rock, another diamond icon, not kind of in the wheelhouse as well. So we'll go ahead and get this guy an approach. And I am also surprised that this is, you know, we're approaching 2 hours now. So sorry about that. It's just, this is us. You know, the profitability on this trip, regardless now at this point, is not great. I mean, that being said, hard to say. You know, I definitely have been doing consistently better here than any place else with my Prospector. Although this, you know, this particular trip doesn't necessarily speak to that. So it's just one of those things. You gotta have a little luck too in mining, and we don't always have it. So, all right, I'm definitely hammering the brake. Okay. E-type, 6, it's a picker. And it is quartz and beryl. A little bit bigger rock. I don't know. Let's see what size this is. 7,500 mass rock. E-type, and that is also quartz and beryl. Yikes. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Okay. 1,900. 1870, 1700, 1870. And we'll prioritize these guys that are a little closer. Alright, I'll get a diamond icon on this guy. I'll get one on that guy too, just while we're... Alright, let's approach this guy first. I'll keep both those icons, keep them close. Crossing our fingers here that we're going to find something more to mine. It's definitely been a hot minute since we found something. 1900, 1850, 1700. I hope that that bug where they just can give you a call and then show up is gone. 5500. Let's approach these three. All right, cross our fingers here. We're really kind of out here on our skis with an enormous time investment into our mining operation so far today. And I mean, you know, even if we get lucky here, we're still a half hour to clean up. So this is us. This is just the way things have been. I'm going to need to get a drink the next time I sit up as well. I can see the rocks there. Slow down. Hitting the brakes here for sure. Hoping we get something here. I don't think... Yeah, let's see here. Nope, those are ghost rocks. Let me go ahead and shoot them all. Yep, you can tell I'm not getting any hit markers here at all. So I'm going to be getting a lot of ghost scans. That one looks like I get an outline for, though. It's an M-type at 2200 mass. And it is iron and borace. And this guy here looks like it's around the same size. 1800 mass. But I'm not really getting a... Oh, my distance is a little too far. Okay. Let's go ahead and see if we can... Alright. That is... Barrel at 47%. Has this guy decided to join the party? Let's see here. No. Nope. That guy probably won't join the party. And that is just 2200 mass. Although, you know, good percentage of borace, but... Man, not what I'm looking for here. I tell you, it's been tough sledding. 17... 1750... 19... There's another... 3-pack, let's head that way. Alright. We'll just kind of ping out here and keep them in front of us if we can. Alright, and there they are. Alright, that's good. Yeah, we'll take our foot off the gas now and kind of coast on in and see what we got. Crossing our fingers here. We really are, you know, this has really been a tough... You know, hopefully we're going to get rewarded here at some point with something to break. Start putting the brake on. Speaking of brake, the only brakes that we got going on out here are putting the brakes on. Alright. Interesting that we're lined up the way we are. Alright, so go back here. These are Q types, I think. Let's find out. Oh, that one won't scan, I guess. This guy is scanning. It is a Q type. And it is titanium and barrel. This guy here is a Q type. Great mass, 23,000 mass. This is a 36% laranite rock with some titanium in it. So we may try that guy. I don't know that we can break it, but might give it a try. It's been a long run out here. This is also a 22,000 mass rock. And that's Bexalite at 30%. So, and it's mixed with titanium. Now, titanium is, definitely got a little resistance to it. So, if I'm going to take a run at one of these rocks, I'm going to at least try the Bexalite rock first. I don't know that I can get it, but let's go ahead and try. It's out there as far as mass is concerned. It's a pretty big rock. So we'll go ahead and see if we can scooch forward here. 79. What do we got? Where is it at? Oh, yikes! Yeah, I think we need to kind of go down and back. Now where are we at? Okay. Okay. Let me nose up just a touch. That feels better to me. Okay. All right, let's cross our fingers here. We're getting low on hydrogen, and we got a Bexalite and a laranite rock here. They're both 20,000 mass rocks, which is fine. It would definitely is what we're looking for. Let me also, before we get too crazy here, let me kind of do this. I will want to put that in there. I will want to try and drink if I can. Can I carry? And let's go ahead and see if I can do it from here. Carry? Can I drop it on the ground? Oh boy. Is there no way to drink? Split. Drop. Is it just falling through the bottom? I think it is. Alright, well, we'll just go ahead and see if we can put the helmet back. Try to live. Got water with me, but it doesn't look like I'm allowed to do anything with it. Star Citizen doing Star Citizen things. Like I said, I probably can't crack this rock. We'll see. It does look like it says impossible. The instability is north of 3. I'm probably not going to even get a chance. I'm sure once it kind of recalibrates here, it's going to tell me no. Maybe. We'll see. There's that kind of that secondary moment where it's like, no, you're not supposed to do this, rock. It's pushing up still. We'll see if we get a server tick and all of a sudden she starts falling south or not. I'd really like to get this one though. A 30% Bex rock at this mass could be, decent. Now, it's going to be mixed, but I mean, any level of Bexalite I could pick up here would be helpful. Still pushing up. That's a good sign. I mean, after a server tick. So maybe we're going to get lucky here and get the break. It's kind of a mixed bag. I really don't know when it will break or when it won't. I mean, I'm over I've got an 18% resistance and a 3. I couldn't crack a 3,000 mass rock earlier. Now I can crack a 23,000 mass rock. So it's just one of those things. Don't know. Now, I know that the secondary item, iron, I think was definitely kind of maybe helping resist it or whatever. Well, I don't know. But I'm happy that I'm getting into this. This is good. 2 hours and 7 minutes into the video, minus maybe a minute or two I have to edit out. I'm happy about where we're at with this. We need Bexalite bad to make this run a little better profitability wise. All right. Crossing our fingers that we get a halfway decent percentage of Bex in one of these. That's a 53. That's not too bad. Half that rock is Bex. What about this guy? Not getting a readout. What about this guy? Alright, this is starting to scan here, so we're lucky there. This is a 5,000 mass. 29% Bex. So yeah, she didn't break up that super clean, but we'll have to just see how it goes. And this is 20% probably Bex. Yep. And then there is a picker there now, or wouldn't be really a picker because you didn't roll up on it, but it's got a little Bexalite in it, so there's some, Bexalite is a good, it's good. I mean, that's half Bex, okay. So got some breaking to do for sure. All right, there's 9% Bex. There's 48. There's 53. There is, oh boy, 20 and 29. So let's do this 53 first if we can. Yikes! Interesting. Kind of easy peasy. I didn't need to go into the overcharge there. That was kind of unnecessary. Oops, did it again. Gotta be a little quicker on the draw there. I'm gonna let it cook out for a second. There we go. Well, I thought I was gonna let it cook out for a second. Let's make sure. Even the time, like the shatters have been crazy lately. So hopefully this doesn't blow me up. Because she definitely shattered. Not too bad. How are we picking here? It was just in there, so hard to say. That's 99% titanium. That's actually a good sign. And that is 100% Bexalite. We love it. That's what we're looking for. A little bit of good Bex. And then, I swear I've got just an edge of something over here. This is probably a 50-50 ball, I'm assuming. Yeah, we'll pick that one up too. It's going to be a high enough percentage. Oh, I grabbed the wrong guy. Oh well. What can you do? I didn't think I was going to grab the wrong one. Let's go ahead and break this guy down next. I'd be real careful. Now, I can move over to the Hofstad, but it's not like I can't do this, right? I can do this. It's a big enough window that it cooks out. I can do this. I could move over to the Hofstad if I needed to, but I just don't need to. All right. Hopefully we got a good clean break here. I mean, bringing that 10 SEU of Bex on board is already going to make a significant difference to the haul here. Come on, baby. You can do it. I wouldn't have had nearly as much titanium on board had I not accidentally just grabbed there was just a tiny little corner of that. But that's okay. Okay, well, what do we have here now? That is mostly titanium. That's a 50-50 ball. This is probably going to be the... One of these two will be the backs. 1402. 87% backs. We'll take that. Starting to get up towards the top of our cargo limit. There is another little shard back here. Let's go ahead and grab him. That's a 35%er. Let's do the 40 ball. Okay. We're at 92 SCU, so we're we're getting there. 20 SCU of Bex on board is going to make a hell of a difference, though, honestly. And we're topped off. We ended up with 20 SCU of Bex, and so that's it. That's us. It came to an abrupt end when we finally found something to mine. So, 20 SCU of Bexalite, and we ended up with 50 some SCU of Hephaestanite. It's not, certainly not the best run. I can tell you that this is the nature of things, though, and it's not terrible. I mean, now I'm going to take a look at some refinery stuff. I know I'm going to be heading for Mike L2, but I'm wondering how brutal Mike L2 is going to be on if it's really bad on Hephaestanite. I'm just kind of curious. Oh boy, let me see if I can get a little closer to that. Yeah, hold on. Now I'm going to check a chart. Okay, refined ore price, refinery locations. Mike L2 on Hephaestanites. Okay, so there is Mike L5 has an 8% Hephaestanite and a 12% Bexalite. Really? Mike L5 has 12% Bexalite and 8% Hephaestanite. Wow. Okay. Looks like we're going to try and make a run for Mike L5. That might be a perfect place for us to hit. And this is what I mean by cherry picking. I had no idea. I mean, this is why you want to have the data in front of you. All right. Now let's go ahead and click down here. Yep. Try and get to the station itself. Okay, do we have enough fuel to make it? I think we do. Let me back away a little bit. It does look like we do have the fuel to make it. Yeah, we do. And it just so happened that we have a plus 12% Bexalite. We have a plus 8% to Hephaestanite. That makes a lot of sense because that's on this side of the verse. I mean, I'm going to the complete opposite side of the verse to kind of go to the refinery. So, interesting. And very cool, nonetheless. So yeah, that actually means, this could actually help the yield fairly significantly. So we're going to crunch some numbers when we get there. Now, the good news is I have the XL1 drive. It's a long haul, but it'll make short work of this haul. And that is a good thing. I mean, because we are approaching 2 hours and 15 minutes on this video. And this is, I don't even know. I might not be able to post this till Tuesday. I'm going to have to look for more music to go in the background here. I noticed that my Star Citizen audio has not been going here. If I check my audio sources here, you would think it would be Star Citizen audio, but it doesn't appear to be. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't appear that my Star Citizen audio is working on my recording. Which is fine, it's just a little surprising to me, I guess. Of course, I didn't mean to do that if I messed up the video for a sec. Audio sources. Yeah. I don't know. It's a little bit... I have to check that, figure that out. So audio sources here. I'm going to monkeying around with this a little bit. Cancel scene. Huh, I don't know. Well, sorry to drag you through that with me, but I'm just trying to... Don't understand why I wasn't getting any Star Citizen audio. But we will be okay with it. So yeah, I am excited about the fact that Mike L5 has decent Bexalite and decent Hephaestanite. I mean, you know, that's going to increase my yield significantly. 12% Bex is a good thing to know for Mike L5. So, I mean, that's actually gonna increase my yield almost, you know, 2,200 units. And you know, if I've, you know, inconsiderably as well, around 4,000 units of Hephaestanite, if my math is correct, which sometimes it's not. So now you can see the XL OneDrive is making pretty short work of this trip. We are no more than we're cruising. That's why you definitely want the XL OneDrive. And so I appreciate you guys saying, if you watched the video to this point, holy mackerel, I'm sorry that you did. In a way, I mean, this is going to be crazy, kind of. This is a huge file that I've managed to amass, and I definitely am, you know, just trying to be as honest as possible. I certainly, when I set out to make this video, it wasn't to be this long, that's for sure, but it is one of those things where, you know, we just kind of have to, is what it is kind of thing. All right, we're coming out of our first quantum here. Like I said, this is why you want the XL OneDrive. It makes very short work of large distances. Boy, I'd like to say time is money. Not sure it worked out that great this time. We'll, you know, we're, you know, going to be a good 2 hours and 30 minutes by the time we kind of get this in the hopper. But this is, you know, we could have stumbled on that. You know, we could have definitely stumbled on that boar race kind of earlier. You never know. I mean, you know, RNG is RNG. You just can't, you know, nothing you can do about it. You're either going to have good RNG or you're not. And that we just didn't happen to have great RNG this particular trip out. That being said, I'm okay with it. All right, the modern Icarus station on the other side of the galaxy. Here we go. I'm going to come in at a reasonable clip, nothing crazy. I'm already going to drop my gear and my VTOLs. It's really critical that you have your VTOLs dropped. It's really critical. You do not want to try and enter a hangar without your VTOLs. So, I'm coming in at a pretty good clip, but nothing too crazy. Definitely gone to sticks again. Whenever I'm mining, I switch to mouse and keyboard, but, you know, whenever I fly, I love my sticks. And so, we are cruising along here. It's going to be funny when I go to upload this. I'm going to upload it. It's going to take all night. I mean, it's you know, it's going to be one of the lot. This is going to be like, you know, on Tuesday, I'm going to be able to put this video out with, you know, to get the fidelity we're looking for. All right, I'm looking to get a notification from the, you know, from the refinery to call for landing. That's what I'm looking for. Now I'm calling them. You got me a landing bay. It looks like it's on the other side. Because why not on the other side? Well, maybe not. Maybe it's on this side. I don't know. You don't want to be going too fast, but, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, like I said, you got to take your time. At this point, it's pretty critical that you get this guy in safe. You definitely don't want to make any mistakes at this point because, man, that will blow up your whole last 2.5 hours of your life. I think it actually is on the other side now that I'm looking. Closer, if I were to guess. And our hydrogen fuel down to 25%. The mole is a thirsty, thirsty beast. No question about it. And so, we're just going to kind of keep working our way. Okay. All right. Oh, my stars. I had a stutter there. I'm like, oh, don't do it. Let me get in here first. All right, in we go. Probably a little higher than I want to be. I'm taking my time. Okay. Oh, don't go too fast. You want to be a little farther forward than you think you need to be here. Okay, what about post-flight? Anything? Yes, got some post-flight there. Good sign. Alright, let's kind of tap out of this guy. Let's go ahead and... We got a refuel in progress. I can see the hydrogen going up. That's a really good sign. I'm going to kind of just back on out of here and go do business. So if we have to... Hopefully she'll fill up on the quantum. Now, little trick of the trade. I mean, you guys are... You know, probably know this already, but if you don't, I'll go ahead and show you. You never want to kind of, you know, if you don't, you know, and certainly in some areas you definitely don't want to. I don't know why sideways look on that ladder there, but if I open up here, I can actually just run out this way and down we go. You can see where it looked like you're kind of, you know, I put that guy right in there pretty good. So that's what we're looking for there. Let me go down there and see if we can get this guy stored for the love of Pete. And get you some final numbers and bring this guy to an end. So yeah, this is mole mining now. This is solo mole mining. Now don't get me wrong, I had bad RNG. I mean, I did not have great RNG. You know, I looked at a lot of rocks and just didn't have the RNG I was looking for today. But this is kind of the meta. And got her stored. Let's go down and let's take a ride down in the elevators and head down to the refinery. The good news is the refinery's got great bonuses for what it is I have on board, including I think I have some titanium too, and that's at plus 13%. So I mean you know, and iron's at 8%. So that side of the verse, this is your guy, you know. Pretty funny. Let's go ahead and get this guy up here, and we're definitely, I'm just gonna look at the half cost. Crossing my fingers it's at least 80,000 or something. 131,000, okay, so not bad. That's a 260,000. It could even be a little better than that. You know what I mean? You know, obviously you can see that little bit of Bexalite is worth every bit of this Hephaestanite that I had on board. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's a $250,000 run. It's a 250,000 run. Now, you know, don't get me wrong, the timing was not great for it, but you can see here we got 12 back. Like if you look here, we're in good shape, right? We've got Bexalite, that's at plus 12%. We've got titanium, that's at plus 13%. We've got Hephaestanite, that's at plus 8%. So, I mean, that's actually pretty damn good. I mean, we're going to go ahead and use a Dynix here. Confirm. And let's take a look at our yields, okay? So, we're looking at, I'm just going to jot this down here. 1948 Bexalite. 1948 Bex. Okay. We've got 1403 titanium tight. And Hef, we've got 5400 Hef. Okay. So I'm going to actually, give me a sec here. I'm going to crunch some numbers. And then we're going to tidy up and be done here. So let me look at the refined ore prices here. Okay, cool. So let's take a look at those. I'm going to bring up a calculator. Let me go ahead and do that. Calculator. Calc it out. Okay, so we had 1840 Bex. Now, Bexalite is selling 7,589. I don't understand how to read this thing. I guess it's at 75. You know, I think that's probably the right way to do it. So, it's per SCU. So, 1840 times 75. No, that can't be right. 1840 times 75 equals 138K. Okay. And then we have the titanium. The titanium, it looks like that is going to be... let's see if that was 75. That's going to be basically, you know, 5. I think it's basically... So not great. 1403 times 5. Okay, that's going to be about 7 grand. Okay, 7K. Nothing right home about there. But then we did have the Hephaestanite. We had 5,400, and that's at 27. So 5,400 times 27 equals 145,000. So if we have 138,000 plus 7 plus 145,000, that actually is 290,000. So it's almost, you know, not quite 100K an hour. Or pardon me, a little better than 100K an hour. So 290K is what I made on, you know, obviously I still have work to do. There's, you know, costs and I've got to bring the Taurus over here to haul that stuff. But, you know, 290,000 is not, you know, and that actually is interesting because, yeah, it looked like it wasn't, you know, doesn't look like it was going to be quite, it's not a 1-to-1 anymore between unrefined and refined. So, anyways, wow, that is a day in the life of a miner nowadays. And so I'm, you know, in Star Citizen, that was a 2-hour and 30-minute trip. And we made about 290,000 AUEC. So not great, but we also didn't have the best RNG. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Please take care of yourself. And I will see you all around the verse.